Hey, I'm Steve with Marine Depot Direct, and today we're replacing some Portlight gasket. Alright, so for replacing the gasket, I've got a couple supplies here. I've got a mild solvent, I've got like acetone. Then we have super glue, because we'll be needing that later. I have a little pin punch. 2 replacement pins for the Portlight because they might get destroyed in the process. Maybe not, depends on how good I am. My pin punch isn't too long, so I have a flathead screwdriver to kind of finish the job, but any kind of like metal implement will do. You'll see how we use it. Replacement gasket, obviously, and a hammer. Okay, so the first step is going to be to remove the pins so that we can remove this whole piece of the Portlight. That's why it's good to have a screen. If you don't want that open, maybe plastic wrap, because this is going to have to be off for about 48 hours. All right, so when we remove the pins, we're just going to hammer a little pin punch to get it started. And use the flathead to finish off. Now you might want to do this with someone who can hold it up for you, or get something to hold it up so that when the pin comes out, the whole glass doesn't fall and break. All right, and didn't destroy the pins. So now I've got some extras, but never hurts to have extras just in case you ever need them. All right. So now we've got this actually removed from the Portlight, we can go ahead and tear this out, make a little starter cut, and it is better to actually pull it than to try to cut all along the edge, because cutting will actually give you more loose little bits and pieces in there that you're going to have to clean out before you put in the new piece of gasket. Alright, so a little starter cut there. And then just pull it out. Alright, so here's our old gasket. Don't need that anymore. There's definitely some bits and pieces in here that we want to go ahead and clean out with a knife and a mild solvent and a cloth. Okay, so now that we've got the old gasket removed and the inner liner kind of cleaned enough so that it's flat and can accept another whole new gasket, we're going to have to go and get the sealant in. You're going to want to use a marine grade sealant here. So we like FixTech Fix 8. We sell it on Marine Depot. And obviously there's going to be a link to all these products in the description down below. So let's go ahead. Now we don't sell a caulk gun, but let's go ahead and get this all situated here. All right, so go ahead and get a nice generous little bit all around here. You've got a little bit before it dries. I am by no means a handyman. Get a little bit extra in there. Kind of getting it all around because obviously we want this to be weather tight. We want it to be sealed from all that water because, you know, there's a lot of water around when you're boating. You can clean up the rest. With the acetone afterwards. I'm going to put that there. All right, and with the gasket, part of it is going to be rounded and part of it is going to be flat. You're going to want to put the rounded side down into the crevice and you're going to want to keep the flat side out. So I'm going to start in the middle of the bottom here, but obviously to each their own. Go ahead and press that in nice and firm. And just keep going around. Don't worry about your fingers getting messy because that will happen. You can also dry fit this beforehand just to see if you have enough and if what you have will work, or if you have too much. And if you have too much, the dry fitting is the time to cut it. You want a little bit extra. You see I have this overlapping here a little bit, and that's fine. You just kind of pull it back because that's going to give you that nice tight seal. Pressing that down. And then, if you don't want to just leave these two open, you're going to want to take some super glue. Hey, quick edit note. You should actually bond the ends of the gasket before you put it in the silicone inside the rim. That's going to help to relieve any kind of stress or stretching that you might inadvertently do if you do it the way that I'm doing it in this video. So just flip-flop those two steps. Bond the ends, put it in the rim, and then you're good to go. So go ahead and put a generous amount in there because obviously you don't want this coming off. Press it together. Hold that for a little bit until it seals. You can wipe off any excess with a paper towel or a rag. Just remember not to get any on your fingers. Keep that pressed in. Once you don't feel any super glue up there, you're going to want to weight this down. All right, so now that you've got that in, you got it secured, you want to give it some pressure, you want to weight it down, and you want to wait for 24, probably 48 hours so that it gets good adhesion. So go ahead and put something on it. I'm just using some squares of wood and some extra dumbbell weights. Give that a couple good presses down, make sure everything is in place. And we'll see you in 48 hours. All right, it's been a weekend and we're back. This should be completely dried and cured. So let's see how it did. Looks good. If you've got any extra little bits of run over or anything like that, you can always go ahead and carve those out with an X-Acto knife or a box opener or something like that. Just be careful not to scratch your metal. All right. Yeah, this looks good. I'm happy with that. Sweet. All right. So then all that's left to do is put it back on the frame itself. And that's pretty much the same thing as getting it off. All right, so we've got our pins that I did not destroy last time. And I'm gonna go right there. So if you have someone to hold that for you, that would be the most ideal situation. All right, so all that's left to do is to hammer the pins back in. Gently and precisely so you don't scratch your actual Portlight. There's one side. All right, there we have it. Portlight's got some brand new gasket. Opens and closes good as new. I'll just dog that down. So there you go. That's everything you need to know about how to replace your Portlight gasket. And you can also replace the pins. These pins are the same ones that hold in the dogs. So if you need to replace these, you know how to do that too. And don't worry, I know that the cell reception out on the boat, out at a marina, can be a little bit patchy sometimes. So there's a link down below to written instructions on how to do this, as well as the gasket we used, other gaskets that we sell, depending on your Portlight, and also the FixTech marine grade sealant. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in a comment below. Feel free to get in touch, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for checking out that video. Click over here to see what YouTube thinks that you should be watching next, and click over here to subscribe to our channel so that you never miss another video.